Hello, you are listening to the Gamer Librarian Podcast, the best podcast you can find on this side of the multiverse. I am your host Adrian, and this episode we are talking about the Game Awards 2024, their winners, their announcements, and more. If you like the episode, be sure to give us a like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using to keep up with us. So, thank you. And it is another lovely Friday, so I hope you all are gonna have a great weekend playing video games and doing all kinds of stuff. I got a whole bunch of plans because of the holidays and just a whole bunch of friend stuff. So I don't know what kind of video game time I'm gonna have to play whatever. So, hope you guys play some games for me, really get those hours in. And let's just talk about the winners of the Game Awards for a minute because I don't think I did a whole lot about that last year. So maybe this time we could just go a little bit more into detail about them. So, like best esports team went to T1 for League of Legends. That's awesome. I don't really watch esports on their side. Esports athlete was Faker. That's awesome. And esports game is League of Legends, obviously. I mean, the whole lineup there is just games we kind of heard about. I would have preferred maybe a newer game that maybe came out this year, but I don't really play those games. VR game is a Batman game. That's cool. Sports racing, I would prefer two different categories. I think it should have been, but EA Sports FC 25. I don't know what that is. It's not a racing game, is it? I'm not really specifically sure. I don't keep up with those. I even see WWE's there, so that's kind of surprising that didn't win Game of the Year. Um, Best sim strategy game went to Frostpunk 2. I only played the first one. I believe I talked about it here on the podcast. I might have. And the first one was really good. And when I seen the second one, they have a lot more diplomacy kind of stuff added to it, which seems really awesome. I definitely want to give that a try at some point. And so here we go. The big contender. It's already the winner of Best Family Game goes to Astrobot. Right now, the lineup there, I would have been surprised to see any other game that wasn't Mario Party win that, especially like Legend of Zelda, like family game. Like really, that's more of a single player game. And even Astrobot, to a degree, I think is single player. I don't think it even has co-op. But I was just surprised not to see Mario Party win that. But this won't be the first time we're talking about Astrobot here on this list, obviously. Best community support game, Baldur's Gate 3. I would have preferred maybe Helldivers 2 or even just No Man's Sky because I was just like there, like, because Baldur's Gate 3 already had everything working out for it, like, by the time it launched. It was already in early access. Like, it's just, I feel like it's a different degree of, like, positivity and support compared to two of the other games on that list. Um, Innovation, accessibility, Prince of Persia earns that, I suppose. I haven't really played any game on here that wasn't Diablo or Veilguard, and I wouldn't say they had the best for accessibility content, at least what I would consider for accessibility. I'm sure Prince of Persia does a lot for a lot of people, so that's really awesome to see that win that. Best fighting went to Tekken 8, which is phenomenal considering the lineup of like Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection and then Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Like, kudos to Tekken 8 winning best fighting of the year, right? That's awesome. Not only that, they announced Clive from Final Fantasy 16 being the first guest character for the game, which is sick. It's They're gonna get me back into that game, and I'm gonna love going back playing all the other DLC characters as well. 'Cause I just haven't had time to do that. Clive is a great excuse. I'm so excited to see how he plays in that game. It's gonna be great. Best action game went to what I would have, thought would have won Game of the Year, but it went to Black Myth Wukong, and that's awesome. That it got Best Action Game because it is probably like the best actiony out of the genre. But then like the next list right here is like Best Action Adventure, and there's like Astrobot, and like yeah, I guess you can have an adventure portion of that. Definitely more so than games like Hell Divers or I guess Black Ops. I'm gonna call Black Ops like an adventure, I suppose, right? Content Creator goes to Queso. I've been seeing that guy a lot. He's the only one whose name I even recognize out of anybody even on there. But yeah, I like Queso. He's really funny, so great for him winning Content Creator Game of the Year award. That's great. That's great. Games for Impact, Neva, you know, awesome. Haven't played it. I haven't really played any game on this list. I'm only familiar with the Life is Strange series for the first two games, and then Senua Saga. I played the first game, never finished it, but I would love to go and finish it, in the future, especially because Hellblade 2 came out. Best role playing game went to Metaphor Fantasio. Awesome, awesome. We've gotten pretty far into that game. I guess we're at the post credits content stuff, so not to spoil anything, but yeah, there's the post credits content, so we're doing all that, which is great, and glad to see that it beat out games like Final Fantasy Rebirth, which should not be on the list just because it's like a remake, but like for maybe role playing game of the year, I think it would count. Elden Ring's out of the Earth Tree. I guess like a DLC, it kind of works out. Dragon's Dogma 2, have mixed feelings after playing that game, and I never got a chance to play Infinite Wealth. So Metaphor Vitasio certainly has that role-playing game aspect down pat with its archetypes. I think it's great because you could just play like the job system in Final Fantasy, just put in like a Persona New Original World, which is awesome. It's great. So I'm looking forward to eventually playing Infinite Wealth, but I'm not really sure. Most anticipated game, Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, I think with most of the recent announcements, most anticipated game might be a little different. I think, depending, but GTA 6 is pretty popular, and I definitely consider it more popular than Death Stranding, of course. Maybe Metroid Prime and Monster Hunter Wilds. Ghost of Yotei, like Ghost of Tsushima, did pretty well, but Grand Theft Auto 6 is really up there. I'm surprised we didn't get some kind of announcement for that. That's crazy. And best indie game, Balatro, my boy. I'm so glad. That there's like a hat trick for Balatro. I know they won some other game, right? It's best indie, best independent, and they won something else. I just don't. Best mobile game, yeah. Battlefield won best mobile game, and then it won best indie and best independent game, which independent like it's made by one person, which is awesome. So maybe that's probably where that category goes. I'm not really sure about anything else like Neva, UFO 50, or like I just haven't kept up with those games. But I do know that Balatro was one person, and that's phenomenal. Really great that they won so many awards, a hat trick for them. And best multiplayer game went to Helldivers 2. Awesome. I think considering like the multiplayer aspect of it, and the support that happened through, Sony's license stuff with it, it was weird with like making their account. Um, you know, it and it just got a new update, right? So like, best multiplayer game of the year, I would definitely say it goes to that. Would have been nice if Tekken 8 made that up there, but maybe if their servers like service was a little better, I'm not really certain. But that would have been nice. Best adaptation went to Fallout. I never saw Arcane or Knuckles or the Like a Dragon Yakuza show or the Tomb Raider one. So, I've only seen the Fallout one. Like a Dragon and Tomb Raider, I'll definitely give a shot, and I don't plan on ever looking at like Arcane in the future. Best audio went to Senua's. I don't really know about that. Um, Best score in music, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I would have preferred Metaphor to take that one. Best performance went to Melina Juergens for Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Phenomenal, great for her. Best narrative, Metaphor Fantasio, awesome. Yes, I mean the story is so good. I'm not even fully done with it, but like, oh man, it like Final Fantasy VII is a remake, right? And then Silent Hill 2 is a remake, and I didn't play the remake of Silent Hill 2, but I did only play Rebirth, and I don't think they should be on the list just considering they're based on games from like over 20 years ago. Like that shouldn't be a thing. And like a Dragon, I really would know how much of that is authentic or real. And Cinema Saga, I think, is all original, just based on like I think like some mythological aspect or maybe its own world. I don't really remember. But Metaphor complete takes the cake with narrative. Awesome. Balatro Mobile. Best art direction went to Metaphor Vitasio. I mean, the art style is awesome. I think maybe the art style for Astrobot is also kind of cool because it looks like a really nice, flashy kind of modern game, and Never I think looks pretty good as well. Ongoing game, Helldivers 2, I think deserves it for its like tumultuous year here, like of course. Now, best game direction, Astrobot, that's awesome. I don't really know. I think some games hit and miss in terms of certain like demographics trying to hit, like multiplayer games, single player games, like arcade style, like phone games, like Bowser's even on here for game direction. It's just like I don't really know how to compare those games specifically. I think if you're gonna do game direction, I think you should look at like how the game is like advertised as well, and then like how the company handles promoting the product. I think that kind of aspect of it should maybe also be affected by game direction, because Balatro, like it's made by one person. I think it's very difficult to compare that kind of stuff compared to a game that was made by companies with 30 years of experience. I'm not really sure. And Game of the Year, right? Game of the Year went to Astrobot. Now, Astrobot was like a surprise release this year for me. I didn't think it was like a legitimate game. I thought they were like re-advertising the Astro World thing that came with the PS5 when you bought it. Because I played that and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I loved it. It was really fun. But I didn't think they were ever going to do anything with that again, and I didn't look at any gameplay or didn't even know it was like an actually different game when I was looking at like trailers or people talking about it. I was like, why are people talking about Astrobot again earlier this year? And I found out it was a whole new game, like $70, only on the PS5. And hey, I'm gonna play Astrobot now. I mean, I love platformers, 3D games, love them. And as much as like this game is just a Mario ripoff, hey, it won Game of the Year for a lot of reasons. So I would have preferred something like Black Myth or Metaphor, or even Balatro. Balatro, that would have been awesome if Balatro could have taken Game of the Year. But Astrobot was a very big surprise win for me. And hey, if it deserves it, it deserves it. I haven't played it, and we're gonna find out. So probably sometime next year we're gonna be playing Astrobot. Certainly, I think it's on sale. So maybe I'll pick it up. I'm not really sure. Um, so that's the Game Awards. Those are the winners. And hey, it's all just fun and games. So we're gonna be going on to the games that were announced, and I'm pretty excited for some of the things, right? So we had like the Naughty Gods weird intergalactic Herald Prophet, which seems like some weird space Dune Star Wars thing. Um, I kind of felt like it was, you know, not really handled pretty well with like their announcement trailer, the CGI trailers. It's like, you're really coming at us with like this weird game, Naughty Dog. I don't know. Okami returning, that's sick. So certainly we're going to be replaying the first Okami game here on the podcast because it's been so long. I haven't touched that game in so long. So absolutely we're doing Okami eventually. That's for sure. Now, The Witcher 4 got announced. They had a lot to show. I don't think they showed legitimate gameplay, but it was like in-game kind of stuff, it seemed. And hey, I'm excited. I think maybe going back to a game that they know pretty well will probably boost them in sales. I really like Cyberpunk, so I don't think they're gonna be like really getting like any kind of misgivings or like bad quality just because of what's happened with Cyberpunk. But The Witcher is based on book series, and you know, I'm kind of overdone with the world. It's just like nothing's really attaching me to it still. Like I like Siri, and it's all cool. But, so the big one, the big announcement, which surprised everyone, certainly. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody would have thought that the DLC that was up for Game of the Year was, just like a red herring because, haha, ooh, we have an actual spin-off to announce to you. We're not doing DLC for Elden Ring. We're doing a spin-off game, an entirely new project, which you guys can go read on it for all the information they're putting out about it. Apparently, it's like a co-op spin-off set in the parallel world of like Elden Ring during like the Shattering or something like that. It's about lore, so I'm not really gonna get into that. But it is a spin-off game, and it looks awesome. A three-player co-op, like designed to be a co-op game. It's designed to be that, not a single player with like multiplayer aspect to it and like drop in, drop out, like some weird like co-op stuff. Nah, it's designed to be a co-op game. I'm so hype. It's gonna be sick. Me and my friends will certainly be playing that. Maybe we'll live stream it. I don't know. I think it'll be really fun. Um, Something called Project Robot was shown off, which seems pretty cool. Um, so Mafia, a new Mafia game, the Old Country was I think announced earlier this year. I'm not really keeping up with the Mafia games. I didn't really like Mafia 3 from what I played of it, and I don't know. Old Country does have that really cool style of like being in the 1900s Sicily. I think like the 19 like flat. So I think it'll be fun. Dispatch is some show with like Aaron Paul and Jeffrey Wright, and then we might watch that. Or I guess like it's an interactive game. It's those TV shows doesn't really matter. Um, Split Fiction seems pretty cool. Capcom is bringing back Onimusha, right? And then Outer Worlds 2 got some gameplay trailer stuff, which is awesome. I loved the first game. I never got the chance to do the DLC, so maybe by the time Outer Worlds 2 is being released, we'll pump up either the old save or just blast through the world real quickly and just do the DLC because I would definitely want to experience that. And Last of Us 2 coming to PC, that was inevitable. 7 Rebirth, PC, inevitable. So of course we talked about Clive coming to Tekken 8 this month. Is there like a date? No, it's just sometime. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm re-downloading Tekken 8 at some point. It's gonna be great. So Borderlands 4, Gearbox and the people who make Borderlands have been going off on Twitter, being like, "Oh, we've already made a trailer. Things are looking so good." So like, hey, I think it looks just like Borderlands 3. We the gameplay still looks like Borderlands 3, and I don't know. It just feels like, hey, this is just Borderlands 3 again. But I'm still excited. There's not a whole lot of like mentions of how it plays into the story, so probably certainly after Borderlands 3. But um, hey, they got some good hype after the movie, I guess, failing, and then we're getting a game. So I'm probably gonna play it. I really like the Borderlands style. I like the Borderlands world. I think it's great. I just wish they would improve a little bit, right? I think maybe having only four characters to start is not very good. Now, don't do DLC. I think you should have six characters at launch, right? You should maybe have three entirely new classes and then like three of like the wackiest, funnest classes from the last games, right? I think Berserker, the gun Berserker should come back with the dual guns, certainly, or something similar like four guns. If the new one is like four guns instead of two guns, that'd be awesome. Berserker right with the fist, something like melee stuff would be really cool. Um, the sirens, they're kind of the same. I would prefer the siren from Borderlands 2 to return, or maybe some wacky characters like Claptrap or Jack from the prequel. But I just think like specifically tying each character to one game is just kind of, or the character archetype and those kind of classes. This kind of it makes the games kind of bad to go back to because it's just like, oh, I'd rather play this class and this one. I would prefer a Borderlands MMO. I think a Borderlands MMO is where they should have gone, but hey, we're gonna get a co-op first-person shooter. Um, I'm hoping it's good. I really am. I enjoyed Borderlands 3, even though I think it's like the middest of the entire series, and I never did get a chance to watch the Borderlands movie, so I don't even know if it's a 3 or not. Just from IGN. We're definitely watching the Borderlands movie at some point, and we'll be playing the game certainly. Now, Sega has announced Virtua Fighter, which is going to be awesome. This is a return to force for the franchise. I'm excited to go back and play Virtua. It's going to be really great. Yakuza got some whole new stuff, some kind of project. I'm not really keeping up with them. And then like a new Sonic racing game, that's sick. Turok is getting a co-op return game. I don't really know if it's a remake or like an original thing, but Turok I know is a game, that franchise that hasn't been around in a long time. I think it's like an N64 game. I might have even seen like a copy of it on N64 at some point. Um, Ninja Gaiden returns with a new side-scrolling game, which is awesome, good for them. And Thick of Thieves is the people I think make It Takes Two, and that seems really awesome. Um, like it's led by the game design legend Warren Spector for Deus Ex and Ultima World. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it seems fun. Slay the Spire. I never played the first game, but hey, that looks awesome. Now, I saw the secret level entire series, right? Like the first eight or so episodes that they put out. I don't know if the last two are out with Concord and stuff, but I'm waiting on that. So one of the episodes was of Pac-Man sent an episode, and I was gonna look into it for this episode. Maybe we can do it while we talk about it. The Pac-Man episode is so weird, so I don't even know where to begin. But yeah, apparently there's some kind of inspiration from some Pac-Man lore that made the Pac-Man secret level be so weird and crazy. You have to watch it. It made no sense to me. It's called Shadow Labyrinth. They're making like a game also based on that same thing. It's like a Metroidvania style game. And hey, I don't even know. I thought it was so odd. The producer Harada is working on it through Tekken, right? The Tekken producer is working on the Shadow Labyrinth project. I don't even know. I'm definitely gonna keep following up on that. The Pac-Man Return to Force with that is really great. Um, I'm surprised. I wasn't expecting it to be a game. I was not. So I think that's really, really cool. There is a new game by the people who make Sifu. It's a soccer game. It's a multiplayer game, comes out next year. I'm gonna definitely try that out because I loved Sifu. I never even finished Sifu, but oh man, the gameplay's so good. I just want to go back and play that. Power World is getting an expansion. I hope they make all the money. I hope they make all the money. They take money from Nintendo. I hope they take all of Nintendo's money. Like I think it's garbage. We talked about it earlier how the um game has gotten like a nerf because of the lawsuit. Obviously, Nintendo is taking away animations from Pocket Pair, right? Pocket Pair removed animations from Pal World of them throwing the Pokeballs and like the Pokeballs catching, returning to the Pokemon, like the Pokemon Masters, your character's hands. And I think that's garbage. I'm really annoyed by that. I don't like Nintendo. I think they're like strong arming Power World Pocket Pair for no reason when they're the ones who fumbled the bag with their Pokemon products and they made bad products. Like, you look back at it, the technology was so minimal, but like what they did was pretty much craft a perfect game. And now Nintendo has all the time, the money, and the resources, and they won't even like get the small, minute things fun for their Pokemon games. Like I think it's trash. Pocket Pair has my full sympathy. You can guarantee I'm going and playing the Faybreak DLC. I think it comes out December 23rd. Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to play a lot of Power Wheel, but like, I want to support that game. I'll even like I want to pay for it just because like I want to make sure that like this company gets the chance to like survive against Nintendo. I dislike how Nintendo is, attacking other Pokemon spin-off creators. It's fucking deplorable. Dave the Diver is getting a new expansion in the jungle. Yes, absolutely, I'm playing that. Yes, absolutely. Like, what are you talking about? Yes, yes. That's it. That's literally it for the game announcements. Like, that's all we had to do. It was a good game announcement year. Now, whatever you want to say for the winners, I think the winners deserve it in all respects. I just don't think the DLC should have been the winner. So this is a good year, a great year for the winners. Awesome for them, and the announcements have me really excited. It's some of the best like announcements we could have ever hoped for. No Ape Escape though. Sony, where are we at? Where are we at, Sony? Why is there no Ape Escape yet? I'm gonna keep asking. Every year I will keep bitching about it. So we got a few things that else to talk about, right? A few articles that I want to mention going on here. And so one of them is like this article by IGN really pisses me off by this dude, Chris Connor. Dude, this guy doesn't understand anything. He like the title of the video, or the article is Video games are the future for dead franchises like Indiana Jones. Now, okay, I think that's not the case in any way. You're talking about the most expensive entertainment medium out there, and you think it's like the best way for dead franchises to like re-up on being popular again? Like that's not how that works, man. Like one of the easiest things you could do is just like give somebody the rights to make a story and let them make like a comic book, like a manga or like some side story like a book, something easy. A TV show kind of makes sense, but you're talking about a video game, bro. I don't know. These people that they have at IGN are whack, and I hate them. So it's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're telling me that like dead franchises like Ape Escape needs like a brand new video game? Nah, nah. In my opinion, I'll bitch about it forever. Give me an Ape Escape comic. An Ape Escape comic would at least bring up like new hype for it, some brand new story, something, rather than like them wasting $400 million, cough cough Concord, on something that won't even work. Like that's an original idea, and that flopped. But these games that are already a part of like established franchises, I think that's still just as hard as a new game trying to justify existing. I think it's very difficult to make a game good and appealing and wasting time and money and resources on trying to obviously maximize profits because people want to maximize, the biggest entertainment industry out there. I get like comic books don't sell the same way as like video games because they're not marketed as $60 things. It's crazy. I dislike that article. It makes me mad. People Can Fly Games, they are laying off 120 workers. So this company, they apparently also worked on Fortnite and things like Gears of War Judgment, Bulletstorm, which is awesome, like the original Gears of War. Laying off workers, that's terrible. I'm hoping that they can maybe do something with something coming out like called Project Gemini or their project. They have a lot of projects coming out. Like with Square Enix and Xbox Studios, that's cool. I guess Bulletstorm VR didn't really go very well. I don't know what Green Hell is, but I think that's very sad that they're laying off people. That's very unfortunate. Um, the Elder Scrolls Online developers at ZeniMax Online have unionized, which is great. I really hope that they get the support that they need to keep that game running in a positive way. I'd rather them have a good, safe, like, positive workspace rather than like the game being like, affected in any way, like negative, like for like less workers to support the game, things like that. Like it's just like you're making all this money, just like keep the people making the game happy. It's very not very hard. I don't know. And it never ends. There's more games for me to finish because there's a Battlefield update for the Cyberpunk 2077 video game. So I'm super excited to go back and play that at some point. I never got to go and do the expansion for it, like finish it. I only really got to do the new playthrough so I can experience all the new updates and then do the DLC and stuff. But eventually we'll get a chance to do that. I do think it's time for us to talk about our sponsor, Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. We also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby is an energy drink that is produced in FDA registered and inspected facilities in the United States. If you use the coupon code down below, you can get 10% off things like products, drinks, powders, apparel, portable bottles, stickers, and bags. And yeah, that does it for all the video game stuff for the week that we could talk about. Fridays things still get announced, so whatever is announced while we're podcasting and all that kind of stuff, we'll talk about later next week. But um, we're called the Librarian Podcast, and I haven't got a chance to read a whole lot of books in the last few months. I've been on a huge manga kick. I mean, I read so many this year. It's crazy. Go listen to the episodes and hear me talk about all the manga I've read. Um, I've tried my best to try and find the newest chapter from My Hero because the writer put out a new chapter that I guess expands on the ending. You get some new character design, see where they're at when they're older. I think it takes place like maybe 4 years or so after like the main series or so. Like the kids are teachers, so they're doing like their own agency stuff, which is awesome. And it, kind of bridges the gap between Deku and Ochako, which is great, and it maybe ties into like some of the villain stuff, like a tiny degree. There's a villain that shows up, but not, to a big degree. It doesn't even tease anything specific for a next gen series or anything like that. So I think we're probably gonna get a hiatus. Now I think the author did confirm him working on a new series, so we'll probably either get that new series out and then maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, a Shippuden style set for My Hero because I think that would go so hard. The high school aspect of it I thought was cool, but I always thought that was like a portion of it that held it back from like blooming into something really cool. Because like obviously Naruto had the same thing, and there's still not a whole lot of things that were confirmed or fleshed out when it came to the My Hero world and like all the character lore stuff that happens like before. Because it kind of makes no sense that like there's almost no documentation or references to all these heroes and battles just throughout these all years because it's been a while since I've seen those portions of the show. But, I guess the My Hero Academia series is at its full end, and we can only hope that the writer will get a chance to, expand on his series because I really liked it. I would love to go back and give it another read and then have more to read later on within the series. We'll definitely go and watch the anime once the anime is all finished up. I would love to see all the rest of the fights. Anime, that'd be great. So, something else that we have fully caught up on. And it's been a full, complete blessing to start this from the beginning to end again and then not get to experience its sequel because the sequel is what brought me back to it. I was a fan of Zatch Bell as a kid growing up, watching it on TV, and I never really like fully paid attention to the story when it was out just because like other shows and I'm a kid, like I don't really know. So I got a chance to read the whole thing, the entire Zatch Bell manga, and I loved every second of it. Like the characters were so good and funny. The light and dark aspect of it, the hero heart, characterness of it, I think that was awesome. The fights were spectacular, and like let alone the drawings and the art and everything like that. Like the moment to moment beats were just so great. There wasn't even a whole lot I disliked about it other than like the intricacies that you get with like other culture like stuff. Like there's things about anime and manga culture that in terms of writing, it's just odd to have it. But hey, it's funny and it's goofy, whatever. I don't really care. So the whole manga was great, and we fully understand how the contest for the Demon Children, the Demon King work, and we saw the conclusion of that. And then the sequel comes out. It takes place maybe like 10 years or so later, and it's off to a wild ride, a crazy ride. So obviously, I'm not going to spoil too much because I don't want to. You should start reading Zatch Bell 2 if you can. We're only on chapter 26 so far, and go if you're not caught up with Zatch Bell 1, like this is where it all goes. I'm going to be talking about certain things, so if you're not caught up with Zatch 1, this is the time. I think people have been caught up on that series for quite a while. So Zatch 2, there's no contest this time. Um, Something's happened in the demon world, and now um the characters they reunite. They come back, Kiyomaru and Zatch, they reunite, and now they have to go and save the demon. That's literally all I can say. I can't say anything else because, like, obviously it's called Zatch Bell, Zatch Returns, so there's not a whole lot I can specifically go into with that. But it's so good. It's so good. And when then that's the anime, I'm gonna flip out. The characters designs that they put out are funny and cool. I'm so excited to see what they're gonna do for the end of Zatch Bell too. Like, it's such a privilege to be able to read this chapter by chapter. Like, I never thought Zatch Bell would have gotten a sequel when you told me as a kid. Like, this weird, goofy show's gonna get a kid. Like, I equated Zatch Bell to like Bakugan and like Bo, you know? But like, I loved the manga. The manga made me appreciate the show far more. It's great. And my favorite character right now is Monma. I hated Monma when he was introduced in the manga. It was so odd, but he's doing some cool spy stuff right now for the Zatch Bell 2 series. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, get on it if you're not on that. So because we finished Zatch Bell, right? I need a new manga to read. And Dawn to Dawn is not over yet. We'll talk about the new episode in a minute. So I was deciding on like Jujutsu Kaisen or something like Sifting Eyes. Sifting Eyes is a newer manga. I don't know how many chapters it has now, but I saw the writer put out some art for it on X, which is awesome. So his art is really cool, and the story is pretty awesome. It's I guess it's based on a concept called shifting. This is only a term I've only heard on the internet, so I can get this completely wrong. But I guess like the term is like people pretend to like shift into just like become different personas, just pretend to be different people. So I guess the concept comes from there. And I'm not gonna look it up because I don't care, but it's based on that, I suppose. And so the character inside the manga, he's like your generic high school outcast, right? And he does something that's known as shifting. And hey, that was the first chapter. It was crazy, it was weird. So I don't know if I'm gonna continue with that. I might. However, I started Vinland Saga, and let me tell you, Berserk vibes 100%. 100%. And I'm going to be completely honest. If they like introduce magic that's not specifically Norse mythology, just like if it's not mythology specifically, I'm going to be upset. I'm only on chapter 22, and I hope it either maintains like its realism grounds for the whole thing, or the only influence of like magic or demons or any kind of weird mystical stuff, specifically only actual Norse like stuff. I'm excited. I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm loving the art and the characters are so interesting. I don't even know where it's gonna go for like the rest of the show or the manga, just because the main character he's just he's angry, and I don't know what he's gonna do if he does kill the killer of his father or whatever. It's wild. So I'm hoping to get caught up in Vinland Saga eventually if it's not done, and see where the future holds us. I'm probably gonna finish Vinland Saga by the end of the month, certainly, because I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I want to read it personally more than I want to play video games. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that, and that's pretty much it with manga. And so we'll talk about it for a minute. Dawn to Dawn had a really funny episode. I think it was episode um 11, and it had like some goofiness. There wasn't a whole lot of lore stuff specifically for it. It was definitely kind of like a breather episode. So when the next one comes out, we're gonna start the manga, which is gonna be awesome because I'm so excited. I don't want to wait like a year for another season. I want to read the manga. I want to be caught up. It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, it is time to wrap up. So the last thing we're going to talk about is Dragon Ball Daima episode 10. I mean, we're getting some big lore drops, big lore drops. It's tying into like Zeno from Super. We're getting like there's obviously ties to Super and stuff. We're talking about the origins of the universe and like all the gods and the realms and stuff. We go to like the original Namek, and there's Majin Ku fighting the first star Tamagami, which he couldn't win. He lost, which is crazy, crazy. So yeah, I'm loving watching Dragon Ball Daima, and it's just so fun. So hoping to catch you guys next Friday for episode 64, I believe it is. That's pretty awesome. Hey, and 64. Who knows? We're gonna switch it up. Probably next year we'll switch it to Mondays every week, just because that's be a lot easier for me personally, and then that's a lot easier for everybody to just watch or read the episode, listen to the episode when it comes out throughout the week. So, we'll see what happens. Well, we'll see you guys at the very least next Friday for the year 2024. And when 25 rolls around, well, I hope to see you all then in the future. Thank you.